Hey guys, it's Andrew here from MAO Magic, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to make knotted dinner rolls. These soft, buttery rolls are perfect for any occasion, and they're very easy to make. Start off with taking 1.5 cups of whole milk and heating it till it's lukewarm, probably 95, 100 degrees or so. But don't let it get too hot, because if you do, it could kill the yeast. Once you get there, we're going to go ahead and whisk in the yeast. Make sure to take the pan off the heat first. From this point forward, we won't need the burner anymore. We're going to add 1 packet, which is like 2 1/4 teaspoon if you have it from a jar, and go ahead and whisk that in until it completely dissolves. Good deal. So now we're going to go ahead and add in a few other ingredients, like the oil, which is going to be about 1/4 of a cup, and then we're also going to go ahead and add in the butter, which is going to be 2 tablespoons or 1/4 of a stick. Now we'll go ahead and add some sugar. I'm going to go ahead and add about 1/4 of a cup. Now here the butter will probably melt, but it's not necessary. If it doesn't melt all the way, it's still fine. So now once that's all mixed together, we're going to go ahead and let the yeast proof. We're going to let it sit about 5 minutes, just until the yeast starts to foam and rise to the surface. So go ahead and leave it in the saucepan, and in another bowl, go ahead and we'll mix the dry ingredients and the egg. So we'll go ahead and add a little bit of salt here, probably about 2 teaspoons if you're using kosher or sea salt, and a little bit less if you're going to add table salt. Go ahead and add 1 egg, 1 large egg. Add that in there, all to the flour, which is going to be about 5 1/4 cup, I believe. Yeah, 5 1/4 cup, depending, which we can add more later if we need to. So now we're going to go ahead and add in the yeast mixture that we prepared earlier. I poured it into a bowl, but you can leave it in the saucepan. We'll go ahead and add that. And we'll let it mix for a little while until it becomes a little bit more of a solid ball. The yeast, if you're wondering, should look something like this. It should be a little bit foamy and kind of rising to the surface. So now we'll go ahead and we'll remove the paddle that we are using here, and we're going to switch to a dough hook to more knead the dough together. If you want to, you can also do this by hand. Place it on there, and we'll put it on a little bit higher speed this time. Okay, I know you can't tell, but that was actually a few minutes there, about 5 minutes or so, and we're going to go ahead and take off that dough because it's about ready. As you can see here, that it kind of bounces back. The dough should be somewhat tacky, but not sticky. It should not stick to your fingers. If you see here, when I press in, my finger comes off and the dough bounces right back. I press in, dough comes right back out. Okay, so now on a clean surface, we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of vegetable oil. We're going to spread that out. We're going to use this to knead the dough on. I use vegetable oil instead of flour because the flour can sometimes dry out the outside of the dough. So we're going to go ahead and use a little bit of oil instead. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and knead this for a little while here. Essentially what we're going to try to do is just make it into a solid ball, bring all the sides down to the bottom, and we'll kind of pinch it together before going to let it rise. There we go, perfect. Now all we're going to do is make sure we have some oil here on the top of the dough before putting it back into the bowl to let it rise at room temperature. We're going to go ahead and let this sit here for about 90 minutes or so, just till it about doubles in size. So we'll let ours sit. And now as you can see, it looks quite good. Okay, so let's get out some baking sheets. I'm going to use 2 9x13 baking sheets with parchment paper on top, which we're also going to spray with oil, just to be sure these guys don't stick. Okay? Now I am going to use flour this time to knead the dough, but I'm not worried about them drying out because we are going to coat them with an egg bath after they're on the sheets. So let's take out the dough here, we're going to pound it down a little bit, make sure we get some of those bubbles out, and then we're going to start dividing it up. So we're going to keep dividing this in half, essentially, all the way down. one batch should give you about 16 pieces a day. Each piece that we're going to make is going to be about 2 1/4 ounces. So if you don't feel comfortable divvying it up by hand, you can always get a scale out and weigh them. The reason I'm cutting them like this is they're going to end up in strips that we're going to use to make into about 12-inch long ropes. So we're going to go ahead and go through the rest of these real quick, and I'll show you how to make the knots. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and roll these out. Okay, so now we're going to make it into a loose knot, and we're going to have about 2 inches left on each end of the knot. Okay? We're going to pull this one under and this one over and connect them together, giving us our loose knot. It should look somewhat like this. It's okay if there's a hole in the middle like mine, because those will go away. Loosely pack them back together, and you should be good to go. So let's get the rest of these taken care of. So eventually they're going to rise about 20% more. But while they're rising a little bit, we're going to go ahead and make a little bit of an egg bath. We're going to take about a tablespoon or so of water here and 1 large egg. We're going to whisk those two together to make a nice egg bath that's going to help brown our rolls. Okay, so using a pastry brush, I'm going to go ahead and just cover all these guys. And as you can see, they've risen even more. They're going to rise about another 20% while waiting for the oven to preheat, up to 400 degrees. Okay, so now we're going to take some sesame seeds, though you can also use poppy seeds or none at all, to give them a nice garnish on top. Now that the oven's risen to 400 degrees, we're going to go ahead and pop those guys in. So notice we have the trays nice and separated on the bottom third and the top third, just so we can make sure we have enough circulation of air between the two trays, and they both get evenly cooked. Give about 6 minutes, flip the trays 180 degrees, give another 6 to 8 until they start to look like this, and there they are. As you can see, they're nice golden brown, and all the holes in the middle have sealed up because they did rise another 20% while in the oven. And there you go, they do not stick to the tray, and as the bottom is a nice golden brown, not overcooked, not undercooked. There you go, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Be sure to subscribe for more videos.